up, shawty. It's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday. We're gonna sip a Cardi like it's your birthday. You know, we don't give a fuck 'cause it's your birthday. You party in the club, party bottles full of bub. My mommy. I forget the words of the song. What's going on, guys? My name is Matt Freeman, and goddamn, do I like to talk a lot. And wow, starting to feel a little bit good in life. Not really in life. I should rephrase that. I'm feeling good right now, and we will get to that shortly. But I was unable to stream last night due to complications of a migraine, due to some shitty things happen in life. Now, fortunately, I had already recorded a vlog from yesterday. Actually, I recorded 2 vlogs from yesterday, so the other one should be up probably tonight. I could probably upload it now because it's on my phone, so it's just a mere matter of uploading it. But my phone's only at 32%, so sorry, I'm answering a text message that was asked, which I will bring up the thing that I'm about to talk. I will talk to you in a second about what I'm texting back. So, let's see. It was yesterday, right? Yes. So yesterday, my father sent me a picture of a turtle that he found while at work, and it's not a native species to Ohio, so this means that somebody either released a non-native species in Ohio and it bred and had babies, or they migrated, I guess, but because they are kind of close, like there are states close to Ohio that have them, but they're not supposed to be in Ohio. And so he found this little baby at work, and I'm not even joking. It's the smallest turtle I've ever seen in my life. This turtle literally had to have been born like very recently. It's only about yay big around, really, really tiny little turtle, right? Cutest thing in the world. Had him just sitting in an old ice cream container, like one of those little carton container things you get of ice cream from the store. Had him sitting in there temporarily until I could set him up with a actual permanently future home. And he disappeared somehow, and we still are very unsure how it happened. Hello, Rachel. I'm explaining about my turtle. But he apparently climbed out of said milk carton container and he escaped. And the crazier part about it is that he, from like the last time that I had seen him to the time that he had escaped, had only been 20 minutes. So, I mean, within 20 minutes of nobody paying attention to him, he somehow got out. Not even kidding. This turtle is only this big around. He is the tiniest turtle I've ever seen in my entire life. And adorable as hell. But yeah, so he was gone. And so my dad, my mom, and I ripped apart my entire kitchen because it was in the kitchen that he escaped in. We ripped apart the entire kitchen trying to find him, and we looked under everything, we looked under the stove, the refrigerator, the different cabinets, like literally everything, and he was nowhere to be found. It was like this funny evolution of like the day started. My dad was like, "Hey, I got this turtle I found at work. Do you want me to bring it home for you?" And I was like blown away because my dad already gets mad that I have enough animals, as he calls it. But for him to then offer for me to keep this baby turtle was like yes, I want this baby turtle. So I was super stoked all day. And then he escaped, and we searched and searched and couldn't find him. And I was literally depressed as shit. I was so depressed that I got a migraine yesterday. I can't blame it solely on the turtle escaping and disappearing, but I was pretty sure that it had a lot to do with it because I was super stressed out over the fact if I could not find him anywhere. And I just kept looking and looking and looking. And so I started reading all these things online about how other people found their turtles once they escaped from like their cages and stuff. And I was like, oh man, there's really nothing you can do to like coax him out or anything like that. He's a turtle. He's going to do his own thing. They're like, just keep checking and looking. And a lot of people are like, when it's dark outside is when they go out to try to catch bugs. So, maybe when the house is dark at night to go around and look for them. So I went inside my house. I had a migraine all night last night. I went inside my house at 1 o'clock in the morning, spent an entire hour on my hands and knees, crawling around my house, looking everywhere for him. Couldn't find him anywhere. And then I went to bed at I stopped looking at 2 a.m, and then about 2:30 or so, I decided like screw it, I'm going to actually like roll over. I was in bed at this point. I'm just going to roll over and fall asleep. And I hadn't taken any medication for my migraine, which I really should have. And now looking back at it, I feel really dumb for not doing it. But I didn't take anything, and I fell asleep, and I slept for 2 hours and woke up at 5:30 in the morning, and it felt like I was hungover as fuck. My migraine was 1,000 times worse than it was the night before, or technically it was the same night, but I'm like it was worse than when I fell asleep. And so I got up at 5:30 in the morning this morning, and got up and I went and sat in the shower and just let the warm water beat on my head, while after also taking just one single ibuprofen. That, thank God, I have no idea how I have this powerful migraine medication, and I took one ibuprofen and sat in water for an hour with it just beating on the back of my head while I had pretty much just sat there with my eyes closed. I literally sat in my bathtub with my head bent down and just let the water blast me in the back of the head. And then after an hour, it went away. But at this point, it was already almost 7 o'clock in the morning. Sun was out. I was wide awake. I went outside and smoked a cigarette. At that point, I was still wide awake. So I only literally slept for 2 hours last night, total. And then I've been up for the rest of the day. I had gotten all the stuff together to make the turtle a badass home, and which I've already done. But my mom told me I should take everything that I had gotten out for the turtle and put it back outside. And I told her, I was like, no, I'm not going to put it away because I know I'm going to find this turtle. Like, I had this gut feeling I will find this fucking turtle. I mean, for how small he was, he literally could have been anywhere in my fucking house. We had no idea where it was at. I spent most of the day outside today. It wasn't really super nice out, but it was still the point where I spend most of my days outside anyways. And at 3:30, I got up to go inside my house and to play a little Xbox because I haven't been playing much Xbox, and I only have a few more days until my Xbox runs out, and then I won't have it again, and I'm really sad about that. So I was like, I better go inside and play as much Xbox as I can. So when it's gone, I'm not like sad that I can't play it anymore. And so as soon as I sat down and turned the Xbox on, I heard my mom run across the floor, like, because I'm in the basement, so like I could hear her running through the house, and I hear her yell my name, and just from the sound of her voice, I could tell that it was like frantic. So I was like, what? And she was like, come here. So I ran to the top of the stairs, and she's like, I found your turtle, but I think he's dead. And I was like, oh man. Well, she said, I think I found your turtle, but I think he's dead. And I was like, what? So I got up, and here he had crawled into my living room, and my mom's been going through bags that had just like bills and papers and all kinds of random bullshit in. And here, when she picked the bag up, because she had gone through it all, and everything that was left in there was trash, so she picked it up and took it outside to trash. Apparently, sometime during yesterday or last night at some point, he crawled into my living room and burrowed himself up underneath that bag. And so my mom was afraid that he had suffocated and or died, and because he was like in his shell and he wasn't moving. And so I ran upstairs and I picked him up. And as soon as I picked him up, that motherfucker sprawled out and was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Oh!" It totally made me super stoked and happy. I was like, this, like, my life's been depressingly sad recently. And to have the turtle come to my life how it did made a super huge boost of happiness flow through me that I needed. And then when he disappeared, it was like everything came crashing back down, and I was just so upset and depressed about everything again. And then the moment I found the turtle, everything turned around, and I was super fucking stoked and happy. And I was like super pumped for the fact that obviously I had found my turtle and he was alive. Um, so then I started working on his cage while also making sure that where he was at, then temporarily until I finished his setup, he could not escape this time. And um, I spent like 2 hours making his cage. And in the middle of making his cage, I again hear my mom run through my house, and then she opens up the basement door and yells, "Matt, Izzy's gone." Which, if you don't know, Izzy's my dog. And apparently she had decided, well, what really happened was my neighbors let their dogs out, and they don't put them on leashes sometimes. So when the dogs aren't on leashes and they run around their yard in like free range, my dog gets jealous because she loves playing with them. And so she took off running like in the direction of them to go play with them. And she's got one of those like corkscrew metal things that screws itself into the ground, and so that way she can like run around the yard, and she's like stationary, stuck in place, but you know it's like in the ground. She ran and pulled so hard that it ripped the entire thing out of the ground, and she ran over there to play with them. And my neighbors, what pieces of shit that my neighbors are, they literally didn't even tell me that my dog was loose. They just took their dogs inside and let my dog run wild. And she ended up getting super tangled up around the front porch of my house. So thank God she got stuck around my house, but it was scary because it's one of those things where she had 20 foot of cable dragging behind her, plus a metal screw at the end of it, to the point where all it would have taken is her running full blast and having that thing get caught up, and it would have snapped her neck in like a heartbeat. So I was really mad that my neighbors just were fucking assholes and wouldn't even, I mean, they know Izzy's my dog. They're outside when my dogs are outside playing, or when my dog's outside playing, their dogs are outside playing. So I mean, it's not like they don't know me, and it wouldn't have been that hard to literally just walk over to my house and knock on my door and be like, "Hey, guess what? Your dog's loose," or "Hey, here's your dog." Um, so just let her go. And like I said, now fortunately she got tangled up in front of my porch, but it went from this super high of being excited for the fact that I had found my turtle to then being kicked in the balls to find out that my dog's gone. And then, like I said, I found her, and you know everything's better. But you know, it was still heartbreaking. I would much rather have lost the turtle than lose my puppy. Um, but obviously, I found her, and everything's fine, and she's good to go now. But so now I've got a baby turtle, which I totally was going to put him in this little container and bring him out here and show the stream and everything like that. Like, oh, look, my baby turtle. But like, I literally, yeah. And the other thing is, Rachel, like, she obviously ran to my neighbor's house because the fact she liked to play with other puppies, but like, she's really not, like, she panics. She's like Bubba in the sense that she panics if like you're off doing something and like he's not with you. It's like the same thing in the sense of like, Izzy freaks out like not being around me. So I think the only reason she was in front of my house was she was trying to find me. And because I really don't see her being the type of dog that would just run away, because she would freak out if she couldn't find me. So she was fortunately staying around the house, but it was still like, you know. So, but anyways, like I said, I was gonna bring Turtle outside and show the stream, but he has had a very eventful last 24 hours. And now that finally finished making his home for him and everything, I wanted him to get acquainted with his surroundings, and I didn't want to disturb him again. I might bring him out another night. Plus, tonight's going to have like a freeze warning or something like that. And with having the stream go till 12 o'clock, I really didn't also want to like have him out here in frigid cold temperatures. I mean, he's a turtle, so he probably could survive. Like he's literally just a little baby thing. So I mean, he literally had to have just been born. Like he's that small. He is this. I've never. Obviously, I know turtles can be that small, but here's a 25-cent piece from 1925. Okay, he is literally, his shell is this big. I'm not even kidding with you. He is the tiniest turtle I've ever seen in my entire life. But I was gonna originally name him Bastard because last night, as I was searching for the turtle and I couldn't find him, I kept calling him Bastard. Like I was like, Bastard, where did you go? Just because obviously I was upset. Then also as like a inside joke with my mom, we started blaming Izzy because when I got the turtle originally, I went outside and told Izzy that she's no longer the cutest pet I own anymore, and then he disappeared. So obviously Izzy had nothing to do with it, but I just naturally started telling her, like, you stole the turtle, didn't you? Because you're jealous that you're no longer the cutest pet I own, and stuff like that. And so I was just like this inside joke now that we keep going on. My mom and I keep, every time Izzy goes in the house to like eat or something, my mom's like, you really tried hard to get rid of that turtle, didn't you, Izzy? And we just make like a little joke out of it. But anyways, um, but then my dad also brought up a really good point, which is now what I am going to call him from now on. But my dad was like, what you should name him is you should name him Houdini. And that's what I'm going to name him. So my turtle's name is Houdini, simply for the fact that he just disappeared for 24 hours and then reemerged out of in the middle of nowhere, pretty much. So my baby turtle's new name is Houdini. I'm just super glad I found him because he's such a baby turtle that like he did not deserve to die inside of my house somewhere. Like I would have felt horribly bad if we found him like months later dead somewhere because he's just a little baby. Little baby. He is Rachel. He is the cutest turtle you'll ever see in your life. Like, oh my god. But then on top of that, while then doing research on it, looking up like the general species of like this are the features of this turtle, this is what he looks like and stuff like that. And while doing research to find out that the kind of turtle that he isn't even native to Ohio. The closest state to us that even has them is Virginia. So technically it's not like the turtles are on the other side of the state from, or other side of the world from us, but it's still the fact of like he's they're literally not supposed to live in Ohio. Like they say on the National Wildlife and Fish and Wildlife Reserve page or whatever, it says like that they will not survive in Ohio. But apparently somebody had owned one and let it go in Ohio is the only thing I can think of, or it escaped, one or the other. And it bred and had babies, and now there's a non-species turtle that had a bunch of babies inside in Ohio. And my dad, now Rachel knows, my dad works for the street department of Wadsworth, but he he was at work. He was in the garage with all the trucks and everything. He was in the garage and he was working on something, and he went to walk away, and he's like me where he watches where he walks. It's just a natural, just smarter usually to look at where you're going to walk. And he looked down and literally almost stepped on this baby turtle. It was just sitting in the middle of his shop. So I mean, like, it was completely in the middle of no water. So I have no idea. He also has absolutely no idea how it made it into his shop. It's like the driest place it could ever possibly be. And being as it is technically an aquatic turtle, it doesn't really make a lot of sense that it was in his shop. But so he's now my new favorite pet. I mean, he's just a turtle, so he really is not super exciting. But I've had other turtles in my past, but they were already full grown turtles. This is a baby who, like I said, had to have literally have been born like months ago, and So they can live up to 40 years. I mean, hopefully he would last that long. I have no idea if he really will, but still the fact of like he's going to be the new like mascot of the channel, my little baby turtle named Houdini. So we have my dragon who originally was named, well, I had two dragons and they were technically Ren and Stimpy, but um but then when the one died and the one of them was super nice and now the one I'm left with absolutely hates me and wants nothing to do with me on like every given moment. um I actually just named him Asshole, so I just call him Asshole all the time because literally he hates me and he wants nothing to do with me, so I just call him Asshole because that's what he is. So I've got a dragon named Asshole, I've got a turtle named Houdini, and I have a dog named Izzy. I have a pretty good set of animals lined up. But so after everything today, and then after I lost my dog, and finally then got my dog back, I realized that my migraine was coming back, and this is like the third or fourth day in a row that I've had a migraine like really bad. Yeah, Holly, I'm super sorry to hear about your dad's dog, but Rachel's a vet tech, so you should definitely you know talk to Rachel about your dad's dog because she's the type of person that could help figure out what's wrong if you don't already know what's wrong, like symptoms wise. But so I realized that my headache or my migraine was coming back, and everybody has their own signs. Like when you have migraines all the time, like me and other people who have chronic migraine syndrome, um, you have certain things that happen, and when they start happening, you can just naturally know. Even before you have pain, you can just generally understand like that I'm going to have a migraine shortly because this is just how life goes. But you know how like when somebody takes a picture, or if you look at a light for too long and then you look away and you have that glowy spot in the middle of your eyes. Um, oh, that's sad. She's got Rona. That's what that sounds like. Sounds like your dad's dog's got Rona. Um, I just let you know anytime anybody around me is sick, even if it's just like the slightest cough or they're throwing up because they drank too much or something, I instantly just tell them they have Rona now. But um, so that flash in your eyes, or that like when you stare at a light and then you get that weird glow in your um yeah, I definitely get double vision at times too, Holly. And that's what I'm saying. It's weird because these things happen before the pain of the headache even comes. I just all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm like, what the fuck's with my eyes? And then like I kind of squintingly focus and realize I have dots in the middle of my eyes, and then that's instantly like, oh god, the fucking migraine's on its way. Um. Uh. But the other thing that is another key sign of my migraines coming is my neck. My neck like tenses up, like all the muscles in the back of my neck get real stiff, and I start cracking my neck. And I've explained this before, but when I had when I had bad teeth pain all the time, I used to crack my neck because the nerves in the mouth run to the back of your head, and then they run up to your head, like to your brain. They run through the back of your neck. So when I get pain in my neck, I'd constantly do this, and I'd just go crack, 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 and crack my neck. And because of that, I've like fucked up my neck really bad to the point where I can crack it like anytime, like really nasty, just go like this, and my head goes crack really loud. And that's another thing where I don't have any pain, but all of a sudden I start cracking my neck like crazy. And so earlier when just earlier I didn't have the thing in my eyes, but I start cracking my neck and realize like, oh god, my neck's really stiff again. And that's usually another sign of like, hey, guess what? You're gonna have a really bad migraine. Um, And since I had such a horrible night last night and I only slept for 2 hours, it doesn't really surprise me to think that I'm going to have another migraine because, I'm running on limited energy and with the stresses of losing a turtle, then finding a turtle, then losing my dog, then finding my dog, and everything just built up. It just makes sense that naturally it was like a big kick push toward me getting a really bad migraine again. And so I went inside of my house and I cracked my neck, and my mom was like, "Are you getting another migraine?" And I was like, "Yeah, unfortunately, I am." And my dad, he has medications that he takes for like pains that he has because he's had lots of multiple surgeries due to the fact that he broke his back and broke his back and neck at the same time and all this other stuff. So he obviously has very potent medication, and he was nice enough to lend me a few. And fortunately for me, the amount that he lent me was like he was lending me not like here's some and just keep it. He just lent it to me like, here, have these, take them now because then that will go away. He gave me enough where I don't really feel anything currently, but I'm sure probably pretty quickly here I will be feeling pretty fucking awesome. Um, I hope at least. Uh, it's funny how like back in the day, if I were to take something like Percocet or hydrocodone or something like that for recreational purposes, I would have to take a lot to feel anything. So I'd take like 30, 40, 50 milligrams, 60 milligrams. And nowadays I don't even have to take that much. And so I'm only sitting on 10 milligrams of hydrocodone at the moment. And um, I'm feeling good. So uh, definitely probably going to be stumbling through my words here at some point because shit hits me hard nowadays. And I also will probably be smoking cigarettes like a freight train because I also noticed that anytime that I'm high on anything, I end up smoking a lot, like a lot of cigarettes. And I don't want to make it sound bad to people like I just took them for the enjoyment of getting high. Like I took them because I knew I was going to get a migraine really bad and to then not have to suffer with a horrible migraine and actually be able to sleep tonight. Now I'm on something that is already destroyed the migraine. Like I have zero pain. It was just starting to really start to hurt when I came out here about 30 minutes ago, and I took the pills at 20 minutes till 10, and so that's only 5 minutes away from being an hour. So, excuse me, I imagine that they probably will be kicking in pretty soon if they aren't already. But like I said, the pain's already gone, and I should sleep like a goddamn baby tonight. That's for damn sure. But um, oh, oh, sorry, I got telephone notification. So I've been sucked into an old television show that I haven't watched in a really long time. I already kind of talked about this one other time in the sense of I I was telling Rachel the last stream that you were watching when you were here, Rachel. It was sometime last weekend or week or something, and I was like, I have this show that you need to watch and you'll love it. And you were like, okay, sounds good, but like it's a problem of like it's expensive to try to buy the show and you can't watch it on any other there it's not on it originally was on Netflix many years ago, but nowadays it's not on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime or none of those. It's literally not anywhere, so unless you physically buy them you can't watch them. But I own them already, and it's only 4 seasons. um but it is like even after knowing, like I already know what's going to happen, because like it's like a show that it's very it's like an action drama show, I guess, but it's just one of those shows that even I watched it one time and I haven't watched the show in like 10 years. And now rewatching it, even though some things are a little fuzzy, but for the most part, I remember like who's going to die and what's going to happen generally in what season. It is still one of those shows that I could rewatch it, and every time I rewatch it, I'm just as obsessingly sucked into it as I was when I originally watched it. It is amazing. Um, a lot of people have probably heard of it. I will tell you the name of it now. It is called Battlestar Galactica. Now, it is about space. I will give you a short synopsis on it without trying to actually physically explain and ruin anything that actually happens in the show. But what happens is there are humans that make these robots that are called Cylons. And they make the robots because naturally, as like we have already even doing to this point in our life now, we make robots to make our own lives easier. But what happens? Yes, exactly, Holly. So you already know, but Rachel has not seen this, and this is also for anybody else who is watching this who's never seen the show before. But so Cylons were built to help man make things easier for the humans. But eventually, Cylons become so smart that they end up starting a war with the humans, and they nuke the entire planet. Now they don't live on Earth; it's on a different planet. They nuke the planet, and and then all these people have to escape into space. And they are, I think, when the series starts, there's like 55,000 survivors out of the millions and billions of people of the planet. Um, and so then the entire show takes place in space, and it's them trying to find Earth because they they have like what would have been like the Bible tells them like that they are descendants of a colony of people who left Earth from like billions of years ago. And actually, I think it's only thousands of years ago, to be honest. But um, so the whole point is them traveling through space to go find Earth, and then as they go, the Cylons keep showing up, and they have massive wars. But on top of that, then you have to deal with all the problems that the humans have, just in general, because humans are very dramatic creatures, and and when you're all living on spaceships in space and traveling for multiple years trying to look for Earth, it causes a lot of problems, and so it's a whole lot of stuff. But the show is fantastic. I absolutely am in love with it. But I'm on episode 12 of season 4, and there's only 4 seasons, and there's only 20 episodes in season 4. So I'm at the very end of it. And like I said, I already remembered who dies and who's considered what, and stuff like that, because you end up finding out, which this is not ruining anything because this is just something you learn within the first season, like light in the first couple episodes, but you end up finding out that the Cylons have robotic people that look like people. They like have skin and have organs, and they look like people. They call them skin jobs. And so there's a bunch of them that are hidden throughout the fleet of survivors. And so you find out that there's 12 total models. There's 6 models that you find out, right? Would have been 4. No, so 7 models are already known, and the last 5 are unknown. And so the entire series is literally like, that there's 7 models of Cylons that look like humans, and you know what they look like. So anytime you see them in an episode, you know that they're the bad guys and they're undercover. And then naturally, as the show goes on and they learn what these Cylons look like, then it's fine. But it isn't until the 4th season comes up that you find out who the final 5 Cylons are. And the best part of it is, like, I already know it, but the best part of the show is by the 4th season, you're going to learn who the 5 final Cylon models are, and they happen to be very important people inside of the series. Like, you go the entire series not knowing who these 5 are, but then at the end of the season, the middle of season 4, you find out who the last 5 are, and it's just fantastic. I literally have been watching. I started rewatching Battlestar Galactica like 2 weeks ago, and I'm averaging about 5 episodes a day. Today's the only day where I haven't watched any, only because of the fact of I had this migraine, I had the migraine from last night, so I was trying to get as limited screen time as possible. B, I was doing stuff with my turtle and then with my dog, and C, I ended up spending majority of my day watching Cletus and old drag racing videos because I have only recently started watching his channel. So I started I went back and watched some of his old stuff and was watching them in order to where we are now. Um but I'm obsessed, like literally to the point when I get done live streaming tonight, I'm literally going to watch at least 2 or 3 more episodes of Battlestar Galactica. If I watch 3 more, that will put me at 15 of 20. Then I'll only have 5 left. It's funny because the first time I watched it, I made it to season 4. I found out who the original or the last 5 are, which is like the first 2 or 3 episodes into season 4, and then I stopped watching the show because I loved the show so much that I hated to think about the fact of that the season 4 is the last season, and that once that you got to the end of the season that it would be over, because I was so sucked into it when I originally was watching it for the first time that I literally just stopped watching it because I didn't want the show to end. I went an entire year without watching it, and then a year later I watched the last 15 episodes of season 4, and it just blew my mind how amazing this show was. It only really blows my mind that the show only lasted for 4 seasons. I'm not sure if that was done on purpose. Like, I don't know if it's they got canceled and that's why there was only 4 seasons, or if it was like the story itself was only built up to be 4 seasons long. But because like when it ends, it's like ends in a way where like the show's just over. Like there's no way that they could have come back and continued. They had, I guess, I actually just learned a couple days ago. Apparently, they made movies about the show. Like the first season, I own the first season. Like I own season 1, 2, and 3, or 1, 2, 3, and 4. But the first season is what they call a movie. It's just one straight movie. Um, it's like instead of being like episode to episode as you watch it, you just start watching it and it's like a 2 hour long movie. And then at the end, because it was considered a mini series on TV. So when it was on TV, they played like 30 minutes of it. And then a week later, they played 30 more minutes of it. And then a week later, they played 30 more minutes of it. So it's like it was broken up into smaller sections to make it like episodes. But realistically, the first season was just recorded as a movie, and then season 2, 3, and 4 are all 20 episode, 1 hour long, like actual episodes, and it's fucking great. As I was saying, it's been like 10 years between the when I first seen it and now to me rewatching it, but I it's always been one of those things where I've always been obsessed with the show, even after not only watching it once. When people ask me, like, besides like, what's a good Netflix show or what's a good Hulu show, if people just like, hey, what's a good TV show, I instantly go for watch Battlestar Galactica, because a lot of people instantly they get this thing in their head where they see it's about a big spaceship and space and stuff, and people are just kind of like, I'm not really a space person. I'm just like, dude, trust me, it's just the most dramatic action series you'll ever watch in your life. Great story. Literally, you'll fall in love with the characters, and but now it's almost over again, and I'm again getting to the point where I'm sad because I'm gonna have to wait some time again. I mean, if Rachel wants to watch it with me or something, I'd totally be down to rewatch it again so that she can watch it. Um, but like, if not, then I'm gonna have to just spend some time away from it, many years away from it again, and then one day I will come back to it and obsessively rewatch all 4 seasons because it literally blows my mind how amazing this show is. Um, See, I'm not like that with television shows. Like, I love movies. I have movies that I've seen millions of times, like, not even joking. I can't particularly name any off the top of my head because there are a lot, but I have seen most movies I've watched. I've watched them hundreds of times, and I can watch them back to back. Like, I can watch one and rewatch it again the next day, and rewatch it again the day after that, rewatch it again the day after that. I have no problem. Like, I obsess over movies. TV shows are a little bit different. Usually, I'll watch a TV show, but I only watch it once, and that's it. Battlestar Galactica now is the only real TV show I can ever really truly think of that I've rewatched. Actually, no, I will lie. I also rewatched Lost. Now, Lost I rewatched about 10 years ago again because it was out when I was like young, like early high school, maybe eighth, seventh, eighth into high school kind of, and then in freshman year of high school and stuff like that. I watched the show Lost, but I watched it when it was on TV and I missed episodes and some things were way above my head because I wasn't old enough to really truly understand how confusing that fucking show is. But my favorite part about it, and then this is the best part for anybody who hasn't seen the show Lost. I'm going to ruin the entire show for you right now. So if you've never seen the show Lost, I suggest that you pause the video for the next minute or so and then unpause it because um, I can sum up the entire like 9 or 10 seasons that you're gonna watch. And the entire time you're watching it, every episode, you're just like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. It is so confusing. It's an up and down roller coaster, and there's things in it that are invisible. There's like an invisible dinosaur, and it's just like it makes no sense. It's so confusing. And then the last episode, you find out that they're all dead the whole time. So it was just like the afterlife imaginary bullshit. And it was like the shittiest ending to a show. A lot more entertaining, but like to literally go the entire like 8 or 9 seasons that they have and watching hours upon hours of the show and just being like, what in the fuck? Like, how are they gonna end this show? There's really not an ending to it. And then you just find out, oh no, they were all dead the whole time. So that's why it was so weird. And they literally like they just wake like they all take hands and then they all just disappear. Like when it ended, I literally just sat there and was like, "Are you serious?" Because if you don't know, the way the show Lost starts off is they're all in an airplane and the airplane crashes on an island in the middle of nowhere and they can't get off the island and there are forces that keep them on the island and every time they try they can't escape and some people die but then they come back and then some people were like the one guy was in a wheelchair when he was in the airplane but after they crashed he could walk and it's just all these things that just never really get explained and never really makes sense and then you just the show lost all of its ratings toward the end of it, so they got forced to cancel. And the show was expected to go for a few more seasons still, so they literally were just like, "Oh, well, they died. They were all dead the whole time," and that was their explanation of it, so that way they could just end the show. But it was like, what? A waste of a television show. These pills have definitely kicked in. I feel fucking fantastic. That's why I'm jibber jabbering about TV shows. My mind's like going crazy over here. I've seen MASH. I don't see MASH is one of those shows where like I've seen a lot of episodes of it, but I guarantee I've not seen all of them and or the episodes I've seen, I'm sure I've seen them out of order. Like I've never just started and watched it. Like it's always one of those things where MASH will be on TV and I'll watch an episode of it and then, a month later it will be on TV and I'll watch it again. And so I'm sure that, like I said, I'm missing all kinds of like things in the middle. But yeah, it's a good show. Um, I hate I hate watching TV shows that are on TV merely for the fact of naturally I don't like waiting. So I don't like the fact of like watch episode 1, but oh you have to wait a week for episode 2, and now you have to wait another week, and then episode 3, and then another week, and episode 4. It's just like I hate that. So like my general idea of how I've always gone about watching television shows is I just wait until the show's done and then I binge watch the entire show all at once so that way I can just watch them consecutively and get it done in like a week or two. Um, but there's only currently one TV show on that I watch, um, which is Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, it isn't out right now because of with the whole coronavirus bullshit. And this is the last season that they have, but I've watched every single season with my mom because I'm a huge Marvel fan. And so now you have Marvel on TV, so obviously I was super into that. And my mom, she doesn't really say it. She wouldn't be like, I'm a Marvel fan, but she's into the superhero stuff. And so she naturally has always just watched the show with me. It's kind of like our thing, you have a thing with your mom where you watch something or your dad where you guys both watch a show. Like me and my mom both watch Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And like I said, it's ending. But it's the only show I watch that's on television at this point in time. That's awesome. Uh, See, the cool thing about Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is like it doesn't actually have like the big main characters in it. The like if you've seen Marvel movies in general, especially the older Marvel movies, the main character of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is Phil Coulson, which Phil Coulson is like an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. for like the original Iron Man movies and the original Thor movie and stuff like that. But he ends up dying in the first Avengers movie. But he comes back to life, and when he comes back to life is when the show starts up, and so then the show's about him being the main character and them going and studying, like um just like weird things or whatever like that. But um it's one of those shows that I again, even though I watch it on TV, I still obsess over that show too. Every time the new season comes on, my mom's like, "Now what did happen in the last season?" I'm like, "How can you forget?" And I don't forget that stuff. I keep track. I've seen it all, and I love it, and I'm obsessed over it. I love superhero stuff, so like it's just one of those things that connects with me on a different level. You know what I'm saying? Um, I really have been thinking a lot though, like if I should or shouldn't start live streaming at 9 instead of 10 o'clock. Um, Literally just for the pure fact of might be able to attract other people, newer people to the channel without like having to be super late. Because like the way I originally had it planned out was if it's 10 to 12 Eastern Standard Time, everybody west of us is one, like every time zone west of us um is 1 hour less than what we are as you go west. So, the next time zone over there at 10 o'clock would be 9 o'clock, and the next zone over there at 8 o'clock, and, so on and so forth. So I figured that would be easy. Then on top of that, I do have a lot of people who surprisingly watch my videos that are from England or Germany and stuff like that. So at 10 o'clock, our time is like, I'm not quoting this because I don't know for a fact, but I think it's like 8 or 9 in the morning for them is 10 o'clock at night for me because of the way our time zones are and how far away they are and whatever. I know it's to the point where they have early morning when we're at night. So I was just trying to line it up the best I could to try to get it so people would have the most ability to watch the streams. But um then I don't really think about the fact of while I'm doing this, I'm kind of fucking over everybody in the Eastern Standard Time because if they can't make it at 10 o'clock, then they just can't make it, and that could also be why um you know maybe why some of the people that we do have show up on our streams can only show up on certain days or at certain times because of the fact of they have to go to bed for work or this and that. Like it's just I don't know. I've been thinking about a lot. So I'm just thinking if I start an hour earlier, it might allow some people to show up for a little bit. Another thing that I've been thinking a lot about, which I think is really funny, for the last like 2 or 3 weeks, I've been constantly bugging everybody. No, I won't say bugging, but constantly asking everybody to subscribe / like help me boost my way up to 500 because we're so close and blah blah blah. I keep telling everybody we're only 28 subscribers away from 500, and then I looked at my subscribers today, and I have 477, which means I'm only 23 away. So I've gone up more than what I thought I was. So I realistically am even closer than I thought I was, which excited me even more when I thought about that today. Like, what? You mean I only have 23 subscribers to go until we're at 500, which is awesome. I still have no idea what to do for a 500 subscriber video, but I will promise you, to anybody watching this, I will make the most badass epic video you have ever seen in your entire life if I can make it to 500. Like I said, I'm not sure what it will be or what I'll do, but I promise you I will put everything I have into it to make it badass, because that's a huge milestone, especially for me being as when I started doing vlogs on YouTube, I was blown away, impressed that I had only had like 130, maybe 150 subscribers when I started vlogging. And even, like I've been flaky the last, say, like 2 years. I've been very off and on, start recording a lot and then stop, and start recording a lot and then stop, and so on and so forth. And sometimes even this last time before these live streams and everything that I've been doing, I took a solid like 8-month break, which I think is the longest amount of time I ever didn't post to YouTube. And funny enough, that 8-month break, I went from like 350 to the 400 and some people I have now. So I got the most subscribers I've ever had in the amount of time that I didn't post videos. But yeah, it's just mind-blowingly, humbly awesome to think that I'm even to the point where I'm almost at 500 subscribers. I never in my life thought I would ever get to 500. Obviously after 500, the next push would be 1,000. I mean, even at that, I'd be happy at 600, 700, 800, 900, and then 1,000, whatever, so on and so forth. But, the next push would be 1,000. But I feel like, if I could get up to 500, that would put me in a much better, I wouldn't say better place for myself, but just better place as in like it might encourage even more people to start watching my videos and stuff, because 500 seems to be around about that time frame where once people hit about 500 subscribers, the more people start actually like paying attention to them, being like, oh, this person's actually got 500 subscribers, this might actually be a decent channel. It's also hard to say because you think about people that you watch on YouTube. Now, naturally, I'm sure there are other people out there that watch people like me who are the small end spectrum of subscribers, but like I watch, every channel I watch is people who have 1 million plus subscribers. And and I would love more than anything to have that, but as more time goes on, and for the fact that I've had my YouTube channel for 9 years, didn't always post to it for those whole 9 years, but since I've technically had a YouTube channel for 9 years, it kind of makes me wonder, like, will I ever get to the point where I'd have 1 million subscribers? And I'm gonna guess probably not, but um, I'm still humbly appreciative of even having just 500. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not. I used to have those YouTube fantasies of like, oh, I want to blow up. I want to be YouTube famous. I want to be able to not have to work and just do YouTube for a living. And don't get me wrong, I still would love to do that. But as I'm getting older and everything, I just enjoy making videos and posting them. And I don't really think anymore about the fact of like, oh, I'm doing this because I hope I blow up and become famous. It's more like I just do it because I enjoy just providing people like you, Holly, with entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you and everybody else that I know who watches the videos, like, you guys are enough for me to want to make YouTube videos. Like, it's no longer thinking of like, I need 1 million subscribers. I need to do this for a living. This is what I want to do. Like I said, it would be enjoyable to do, but just knowing that I have even just a small group core of people that enjoy listening to me talk and watching my content is still enough to be like, I'm definitely into making videos and having people enjoy them. It's like I get to be creative in my own special way. And when I do this, you guys obviously give me feedback as with comments or like, on live streams, and you talk to me and stuff like that. And you just kind of, you allow me to understand like what I do that you guys enjoy. And so then if I do something that I'm like, I'm not sure if this is going to go well, and everybody's like, this is a great video, that boosts me to want to create even better, more interesting content, because then I realize like, oh wow, people actually enjoyed that, um, and so on and so forth. I'm itchy, okay. This is a side effect of hydrocodone in my body, um, but every time I take it, like I said, I'm only on 10 milligrams, which is a very small amount. And yes, it has definitely fucked me up. I'm super yappy at this moment and getting truthful into my feelings because I'm feeling fantastic. But if you haven't noticed, I keep itching my nose and I'll itch my beard, or like my legs been itchy and stuff. It's like my body becomes very itchy, which almost makes you think like I'm almost said I'm addicted, but I mean almost makes you feel like I'm allergic to it, because you shouldn't be itchy, but it's not. It's like my body is numb now, because the painkillers have finally like really kicked in and made my body go like numb. And now that I'm numb, like everything feels itchy, because it's literally just the fact of my body feels numb. And when I start to itch myself, the itch goes away, and I instantly just realize it's the weird feeling of being numb throughout my body that is making me want to constantly itch, because I'm like, why do I feel weird? Why does this feel weird? Um, All right, good. At least I'm not the only person who gets itchy when they take this stuff. Now, like I said, I know with the 10 milligrams that I'm on, I know for a fact it's not like I'm allergic or I'm even like overdosing or something stupid like that. I understand. It's like I said, it's just the weird feeling of being numb and you feel like weirdly itchy. But I just figured I'd call it out. So if anybody wonders, like, why does he keep itching his nose or the side of his head and stuff like that, it's because my body's numb at the moment and I'm a bit itchy on things, um but no, Holly, and that's the thing, like what you were saying with the comment above, the you feeling itchy too, um but that's I I like making new friends. I like talking to people. Like, I'm the type of person who can go into a room full of strangers, and by the time I leave, I guarantee I've talked to half of the group or half of the room of people. I have no problem meeting people. I'm great with talking to people and everything like that. I like making friends. But this whole YouTube thing is just me sitting here talking and explaining my life and my feelings about things and stuff like that. And naturally, as you guys watch my stuff, you learn a lot about me. So I totally completely understand what you mean about the fact that it feels like you've known me for a really long time, because honestly, I get that a lot from a lot of people that watch my channel and stuff, and that's why I don't ever want anybody to feel awkward like trying to talk to me in chat or something, because it's not like I'm going to be like, "Oh, you're new. I don't know you. This is weird." Like, I'm a very open book. You can ask me anything and I will tell you my honest opinion and or the honest truth about whatever it is that you're asking. Um it's just the person I am. And I also kind of naturally, before the like I said, in the sense of like when I used to want to be YouTube famous, and that was like my main goal for posting videos on YouTube and stuff, is like I know from my life history of like being a person and not doing YouTube, just how I am with people in general, that when I talk to people, and if whether it's somebody I've known for a lot of years or somebody that I've just met, people always tell me they love talking to me. I have the best stories. I have the best way of explaining stuff. I have the best advice for things and stuff like that. So, like, when I started this whole YouTube process, I had that in my head as like, well, if everybody around me in life tells me that I'm a great people person, then I should have no problem being a great YouTube person, because that's all I got to do. All I got to do is talk. All I got to do is explain how I feel about things, and what I, my honest opinion, and give out advice and stuff like that, which, you know, um, which is always the funnier thing too, because like I have so many friends of mine that when they have relationship, throughout life, through high school even to now, but when my friends have like relationship problems and stuff, they come to me for advice. And I always find that funny, because I'm one of those people, I'm great at giving out advice when it comes to relationships, and like how it should be, and how, if you feel, and trusting your feelings and stuff like that. But like I am I'm like the movie Hitch. If you've ever seen the movie Hitch with Will Smith, that is like me. I am so good at hooking other people up, or getting other people's relationships back on track, and helping people with problems in relationships, but I suck so bad at relationships in my own life. Like I can't keep a girlfriend to save me. Now I will admit that besides my ex-girlfriend, um, every girl besides her has technically always cheated on me, or has like broken up with me. But then this last time, technically, I had issues before with her, but this last time was the first time that I ever actually ended a relationship. It felt very relieving, in a sense of like my first time in my entire life that I ever actually did the breaking up, because I had enough. And so that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of times people will come to me and say my girl's acting weird, and she's being, she's talking to all these dudes and all this other stuff, and I tell them like, yeah, if she's spending all of her time talking to other people, then just fuck her and leave her, and all this other stuff. But then here I am, I had my girlfriend who's talking to all these other guys, and would tell me like not to worry about it, they were just friends or family members, or bullshit excuses and stuff, and I just let it go, and it's just funny how I'm great at giving that advice to other people, but the moment I have to implicate it in my own life, I just let it go. Which, it's a live and learn situation, obviously. And if I didn't have such shitty relationships in the past, I wouldn't be able to give good advice to people. But it's just one of those another funny situations. My nose is a little stuffed up, because unfortunately, what you had mentioned many comments ago about this stupid Ohio weather, how it literally goes from being fucking warm to then being cold, and then it snowed last night. Now it's supposed to have a freeze warning tonight. And it's just like this roller coaster of bullshit weather in Ohio, which I obviously you live in Ohio, so you understand it just as much as I know. The state fucking sucks ass, but as the temperature changes so rapidly in Ohio, it makes my nose, like my nose gets plugged up and shit, and I hate it. It's not like a sickness, like I'm not getting a cold. It's just like the temperature changes and I get all sniffy and stuffy. So I haven't been breathing through my nose this whole time I've been talking. I've been breathing through my mouth, which I'm a natural mouth breather anyways. So it's not like the craziest thing in the world, but I smell wire burning. Like if you've ever had a plug that sat out of a wall, or I can't really explain it. It's the only way to explain it is the smell of like plastic burning and or wires burning. But I smell what smells like wires are burning. Now I do have a heater at my feet, but there's nothing around it that would be causing that smell. So I'm a little bit confused as to why, or what could be burning, but something's definitely smells like burnt wire and or plastic. Doesn't mean it's 100% from me. Could be from a neighbor outside burning something they shouldn't be or something. But now that I had just enough like nose opening to be able to smell, that's the only thing I can smell in this garage is the smell of burnt plastic and or wire. It is honestly a bit concerning, because I do smell it outside. I'm going to take a quick going to quickly step outside and see if I can see anybody burning a fire. You like my pajama pants? I'm in pajama pants today. Today's been a lazy day. I've just been in pajama pants. But I'm going to step outside and see if I can smell it. Because if I can't, that definitely means something inside here is smelling like it. But I just want to ensure that it's either in my house or in my garage that I'm smelling it, or it's outside, because it's one of those things where it's not a good smell to smell because it could lead to fire if it's heat. And I was right. I stepped outside because, like, literally, my garage reeks of it so bad now that I'm actually breathing through my nose and I can smell. My garage reeks of this smell. And I step outside, and all I can smell outside my yard in front of my garage is that's all it smells like. I turn and look that direction because that would be west. I looked west, and 3 or 4 houses down, somebody has a fire that's it's like burnt down now to the point where it's just embers, but I could see the glow in their yard, and I guarantee they threw something plastic inside of it, and the wind's probably blowing east, and it's blowing it right down here. So now my garage smells like burnt wire. But like I said, I just had to make sure that it wasn't me, because if it was me, then I would have to search around here and see if I can't find a wire that's barely connected or something that'd be causing a fire, because I'm not trying to burn my garage down, um, or anything like that. But like I said, I can see that fire glowing down at the end, down a couple of yards down. So I guarantee that somebody burnt something in their fire, like some plastic or something. That's what I'm smelling. But I think what I'm going to do, and I'm not 100% on this, so don't like quote me on this if it doesn't happen. Don't be like, oh, you said you were going to do this, because I know how I am in life, and I don't want to. It's really annoying when people burn shit they shouldn't, because it smells horrible and it makes the entire neighborhood reek, and obviously you're not supposed to because of the environment on top of that. But I've been thinking recently, actually, with the upload of yesterday's video and stuff, I've been thinking that I might start recording vlogs again and post the vlogs in the morning and do live streams at night, just because I realized quite a lot of people commented on my vlog from yesterday, and a lot of people were like, oh my god, I miss your vlogs. And while hearing that and or seeing that, it made me realize that these people have never once commented and or talked to me on a live stream. So that makes me wonderously think that there's a lot of people out there that don't watch the live streams because they just don't. Apparently it doesn't excite them, or they don't care for them, or something like that. But um but yeah, so it just apparently seems like more people want the vlogs than they want the live streams, which I can't blame them. I mean, the live streams are more of a new thing, but I really enjoy the live streams, and I'm obviously not going to stop live streaming because people want to see the vlogs more than the live streams. But it's also then got me thinking, like, should I start making vlogs again, but putting the vlogs, uploading them in the morning and then doing a live stream that in the evening or at night, kind of thing, like I've been doing, stuff like that. Like I said, I know how I am, so I don't want to put that in concrete and say I'm starting to vlog every morning, because then I'll end up forgetting or stopping, and so I don't want to. I just don't want to do that, say that, stuff like that. But I'm thinking I might go that route, just because you know then more views, I'll be obtaining more views, because I'll be not only getting, I mean, and generally, I wouldn't consider the amount of views. See, there was a time before I quit the last time, I was getting like 100 views a day, which blew my mind. I never in my life ever been that high. Nowadays, I'm getting like maybe 20 views a day, which is pretty common for my videos. But just even the thought of that one point, I had even gotten to the point where I was getting 100 views a day on like a vlog I would upload. It'd get views like so fast, and compared to nowadays where it's much slower, like it always had been. It's still a fact of like, if you think about it, if I get 20 views on a live stream, and I happen to post a vlog in the morning and I got 20 views on that video, in theory, those both count together and I got 40 views in that one day. That's how YouTube considers it. So, it might be better to almost be like a video whore and just start posting videos as much as possible, because even if you think about it, if I posted 5 vlogs a day, not even counting live streams, if I posted 5 vlogs a day, and each one of them got 5 views, that'd be 25 views a day just from each video. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, even if you think about it, if I did 5 videos a day and it gets to the point where each one gets 20 views, now we're up to 100 views a day. I don't like to play YouTube like that. A lot of people out there do that. The more videos you post, the more views you get, and and the more your rating will go up, and blah 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 blah. But I don't want to do that, because in theory, you're really just playing a system. Like, you're cheating the system to get views at that point. You're not really trying your hardest to make good quality content for people. You're just worried more about getting views than you are about whether or not people truly actually like the content they're watching or not. But I at least could think about possibly starting doing vlogs to record and post it in the morning, but they will be a day behind, which wouldn't be the worst thing. But, like, I recorded the vlog yesterday where I went from the bank to the drive-through to the gas station. But then after I left the gas station, I recorded another vlog from the gas station to home, because I thought of some things that I hadn't brought up in the first vlog. And so I was like, I'll just record another video, and then I have more time to talk about things that I've thought about and stuff like that. And so I recorded another video. It was another 12-minute video. So, like, in theory, tomorrow morning I could upload. I will, but like, I could then upload that video tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow afternoon, or even tomorrow morning, or just whenever, sometime tomorrow, pre-live stream, I could record another vlog. And then the day after tomorrow is when that video will get posted, and so on and so forth. But like I said, I'm not putting that in concrete, but I was thinking it could be a possibility. I'm trying to build this channel the best I can. And, if people want the vlogs more than the live streams, it might actually help me out if I actually do post vlogs. On top of that, people love when I drive. I love it that I get about 50-50. Like, everybody usually enjoys the videos, but a lot of times I get people are like, I love when you drive around and you talk. Like, I just love being with you on that adventure of, like, driving around and stuff like that. And then I get 50% of people that they might like the video, but they just yell at me in the comments, and they're like, do you know how unsafe that is, that you're vlogging while driving? And it's like, okay, here's the thing. My phone is held in by a mount. It's for like a GPS, like you put your phone up on your window, and so it holds your phone so you can use the GPS. So it's not like I'm standing there driving with my hand holding a fucking camera, for one. And for two, if you pay attention to it, most of the time I'm staring out the window. I'm not looking at the camera. Like, and sometimes people are like, you looked at the camera for a solid 3 minutes there. And it's like, where the camera is mounted, when I'm looking forward down, like, toward the road, the camera is right there. So, like, I'm looking past the camera to see the road, but it looks like I'm staring at the camera when I talk. I did that on purpose, so that way it seems like I'm looking at the camera when realistically I'm watching where I'm driving. But obviously people are just like to be assholes, and that's the thing of life. And it's just like when in the beginning of yesterday's vlog, I won't say the beginning, it was about 10 minutes in, but when I was at the bank, and I really wished I would have had the camera recording when I was talking to the bank teller, just because, like, she literally told me when I pulled up that she apologized to me about how long the line was, which, yes, I admit it was a fucking horrifically long line, but she apologized for it. And I said, no, don't apologize. I only sat there for 10 minutes, and I was actually really impressed for how fast you guys are going through there. And she literally said that the last like 25 people that they had helped out, every single one of them bitched at them that they were going too slow. And I was like, why? It's obviously it's one of those things where there's a lot of assholes in this fucking world, and for some reason everybody feels like they're so much more important than everybody else. So it's like, come on, you made me sit there for 15 minutes before I could even get up there and deposit my money, and you're going too slow and all that stuff. So I was like, listen, I was like, people are assholes. Don't listen to them. You guys are doing a fantastic job. I super appreciate everything that you guys do for us and everything like that. And because of how the whole drive-through works, even though I'm talking like one-on-one with the bank teller, there's 3 other women in there talking to the other people. And since the intercom is set up the way it is, they all can hear me. And literally all 3 of them, I could hear them in the background. They were like, oh my God, thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means to us. And like, you could just generally hear it in their voices that they were blown away that I was the first person probably that entire day that actually told them that I appreciated them and I was thankful for what they do. And I was just like, why are people such bitches in this world? Like, I hate people. People wonder why, even though I have no problem sitting here talking on YouTube, that I hate people. Like, I literally could live in the middle of nowhere where I'm the only person, and I could be perfectly fine with that because I'd never have to deal with all the fucking assholes in this world, which are a lot, and they're everywhere. But at least as I see it, at least I can be that person that makes somebody happy and somebody makes somebody feel good about life because like nobody should be fucking yelling at the bank women for going too slow and stuff like that. Like fuck you, dude. They could shut down and not even be open with all this COVID-19 bullshit going on, and then nobody's going to the bank. So what do you want? Do you want them to have to take their time and actually do shit right, or do you want them just to fucking close and then not have anybody there to deal with you in the first place? Like bullshit. Bullshit, people. Easy, lay down. Lay down. Lay down. You being a bad girl anyways. You being bad. Lay down. You run away from home. Yeah, you run away from home, huh? You being a bad girl. You lay down. God, people as in like not the people I'm yelling at originally. Like it smells again. Like they literally must have thrown their entire trash in this fire. I'm about to run down there with a bucket of water and dump their fire out. I'm getting that fucking mad how bad it smells like burnt plastic. I worked in a plastic factory for 8 years. And if I was still working there to this day, I wouldn't be complaining about burnt plastic because my nose was so used to the smell of what burnt plastic smelled like that it wouldn't bother me this much. But when you go 2 years without having the smell of burning plastic, and then you smell it again, it is the most disgusting smell in this entire world. It drives me crazy. Now, I understand that some people live out in an area where you don't have trash pickup, so you burn your trash. That's okay. If I smell it out there, I don't get mad because I understand that's what the people have to do to to get rid of their trash. But when I live in the city and you have a trash can and you have a garbage truck that comes and picks up your fucking garbage once a week and you're burning plastic in your fire pit, now you're pissing me off. It's disgusting. And like I said, now all I can smell in this garage is burnt plastic. I have a fan that's hanging up in my garage, but if I turn it on, obviously it's going to make the garage cold because it's cold outside, and I don't want to do that. So I'm stuck with just sitting in a garage full of the smell of burnt plastic, and it's really disgusting. Holly, would you like to see a picture of my turtle? You probably won't be able to see it super well because of the fact of that um that the it's going to be on my phone, but like I don't know if you've ever seen a baby turtle that has just been born, but it's literally the smallest turtle I've ever seen in my entire life. The most adorable and cutest thing I have ever owned in my entire life. That's why I jokingly tell Izzy now that she is no longer the cutest pet I own because this fucking turtle is the most adorable thing I've ever seen. Like I said, I've owned turtles before, but every turtle I've ever owned has been like a big like full grown turtle. But this picture is a bit blurry because I took it yesterday when I had my migraines. So oh, I wonder why every day for the last 2 days I've been turning my phone sideways and nothing's been turning sideways, and then I just found out it's because I accidentally had turned off the ability for my phone to go sideways. But this is blurry, so but it will let you see the general size. Like the turtle's obviously in my hand, and you can tell that his shell is the size of my thumb. Just this little baby thing. Then, like I said, that picture's blurry. I got a better picture, but the scale of size isn't very helpful in this picture because he's in the water. But this is him in his cage setup that I made for him today. Actually, let me turn the brightness down just a little bit more on my phone. The darker I make my phone, the easier it is actually for you to see it on on video. But you can see him there swimming in the water. He's just the littlest babyest turtle. It's so adorable. I've never, like I said, I've just never in my life seen a turtle that's actually that small before. Like I've seen them in like a video documentary of like turtles or something like that, but I've never in my life, in my actual person, actually seen a turtle, and he's this big. Like he's literally this big around. It's adorable. Um, But he has a life expectancy of 45 years. So, I mean, if I can keep him for that long, that would be fucking tits as shit. If you think about it, I'm turning 30. If he lived for just say 40 years, just to make it easier, he would die when I would be 70 years old. That's amazing. Turtles are very difficult because, like I said, I've owned bigger and like older turtles before. You go to Petco and you buy a turtle, and they tell you that they're only a couple years old, but when you buy them, they're like this big around. So I mean, they're totally a lie. Like these turtles are probably like 10 to 15 years old, so their life expectancy is much harder. But I feel like if you start with one that's as baby as he is, and you actually get him to survive for like 10 years, it should be even easier to keep him alive longer because you already have kept him alive for since he was a baby to him growing up. That once he grows up to an adult, should be even easier at that point to keep him alive. But I love animals. Like it's one of those funny things where I've never really it was never a thing for me for a long time. It wasn't until I was like 18 or so of age that I really started like branching out and started like acquiring animals. But like I've always had fish. I've always had, I can't say lizards because this lizard I have now, my dragon, he's the first lizard I've ever owned in my life. But I've always had frogs. I've always had toads. I've always had turtles. Um, just I have all kinds of animals nowadays. Um, no, it's okay, Holly. I mean, realistically, I guess I could just end the stream early. Because if you leave, and I'm not trying to say this as like a guilt trip, but if you leave, I'm gonna have nobody to talk to, and I've already pretty much talked for the last hour and a half, and about things in general, random thoughts and stuff like that. But I don't know if I could do another 30 minutes of just talking randomly without actually physically talking to somebody. It makes it harder to do 2 hours of just randomly talking when nobody's there to comment and talk back to me. But like I said, that's not like no guilt trip or anything. I might just end it anyways, but that's fine. You do what you got to do. Your life is much more important than watching me ramble on for 2 hours. Uh, Plus, with how I feel with this, with with how I feel right now, it'd be better if I probably got off of here and watched a little bit of little bit of Battlestar Galactica and then went inside and hopefully got to bed at much earlier time than 3 or 4 in the morning like I have been the last few nights. I'm just super also stoked about the fact of going down south on the 16th of this month. It's been 2 years since I've been down there, and we are going to have. Yeah, I'm sure it's annoying, but it's also one of those things. I'm sure you also like love life like I do. I'd much rather have to go through that crap like you are and stay alive than not do it and die. So it's one of those things where yeah, it sucks. I'll totally agree with you there. I'm sure it's the worst thing to have to do, but being as it's helping you and it's keeping you healthy and alive, it's a sacrifice you're gonna have to make so you can keep on going, which and that's obviously a good thing. Um, it's like my buddy's stepdad who just died of cancer recently. Um, he found out he had cancer 2 years before he passed away, and he had a really bad cancer, the kind that spreads through everything really fast. So he knew it was inevitably going to die, but he still went through all the chemo and all the bullshit treatments and everything he could. They gave him 2 extra years. And whereas a lot of times he wanted to give up and he absolutely didn't want to do it, it's still a fact that he also loved life and the thought of even going through all that nasty, horrible bullshit to even give himself 2 extra years, it's still worth it. And I agree 100%. Even if I'm told one day that you're terminally dying and you have very little time left, but if you do all this crap, you might get a couple extra years. I'll fucking do the bullshit. I will go through them steps just for those extra couple years because life is too amazing to just quit, just give up and say, well, it's my time. It's my time. It's like, no way, man. Gotta do what we gotta do. Keep on pushing. Keep on going as much as we can. Do what we gotta do to keep on surviving. Oh man. Yeah. See, I'm starting to kind of run out of things to talk about, which is actually really funny. Something that's just funny in the sense of that's crazy. So like do you just have like an IV needle with a little thing sticking out of your arm that just stays there and that's how you administer the stuff um or is it like do you physically have to stab the IV into yourself when you go to do that cuz I couldn't do that. Like as much as I love life, somebody else is going to have to poke me. I hate needles with a passion. Um Oh, yeah. See, and the only reason I even knew that is because my buddy's stepdad, who had that stuff, had cancer and stuff. He had the same thing. He had a port, but it was in his arm, so it was already there, and it just had a little like thing that came out of his arm where he could like put the stuff into. So that's why I knew that that was a thing. But I figured that's probably what you had, or what was going on. It's crazy how technology, medical medicine, and stuff like that has evolved so much that they can actually put a port in your body and leave it there. Like you think about even going back 100 years ago, and I guarantee they couldn't do that shit. If you even went to them and we went back in time and physically were like, what if you tried putting this thing in somebody and left it there so that they could administer their own stuff? They'd be like, no, you can't do that. It's just crazy how much medicine. It's why they call it modern medicine. And I know it makes complete sense, but I really only learned that like a couple years ago, and that makes complete sense once you realize it, that the reason why it's called modern medicine is because realistically, we've only had good like medical things in life like more recently in life, I say like maybe like the last 50 years, we've been like pretty good with all of our medical stuff that we're able to do with human bodies and stuff like that. Because it's like you go back any farther. I mean, you even go back to like World War II and shit. The medical fields were not good. Like if you got infections, more than likely just cut your leg off than they did even try to fight the infection. Like if you got a leg infection or you got shot in the leg and your leg was infected, they just cut your whole leg off. Like they didn't even try to solve the issue because they just knew that they had no ability to actually get it to work, and it was just better to cut your leg off than to have them try to fight it and have it spread through your whole body, gangrene style, and kill you. Crazy. Yeah, I guess maybe if you have to do it a lot, it might get easy over time, but I couldn't do it. I literally like just thinking about it now. If somebody was like, "Here's this shot. Here, you put it in your own," I couldn't do it. Like it, I just couldn't do it. And that's one of the greatest things about heroin. And everybody does heroin all the time. And like I wouldn't say everybody, but nowadays heroin's a much larger drug than it ever has been, kind of thing. And unfortunately, now I've learned throughout just knowing things from life that, watching the news and stuff, that you don't have to shoot up heroin. You can do it other ways. But for the majority of people who physically tie their arm off and then, inject themselves with heroin, it's like, I couldn't do that. I literally couldn't do it because I don't like needles, let alone stab myself with a needle, regardless to how bad I want to get high. I just can't do it. There's just no way I couldn't do it. So it's one of the greatest things. It's like, obviously, I'm mentally smart enough never to do it, but it's also a great feeling to know that I could never do it, even if I wasn't mentally smart enough to not do heroin, because I couldn't physically stab myself with a needle to get high. I just couldn't do it. Mm. Ah, man. Tell you what, though, they always say that pain pills are always the stepping stone to people going down the path of heroin. How I feel right now, I love this feeling. I feel great, fantastic. My body's like just super chill. I could talk forever, just in the sense of like how relaxed I am and how comfortable I feel. But like, I couldn't imagine doing this every day. Like, I could not imagine tomorrow taking more, and then tomorrow, the day after that, taking more, and then the day after that, doing more. Like, I enjoy what I feel like as I feel like right now, but only because I know it's a right now feeling and that it will, then I won't for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm not prescribed to anything like that, so it's not like I can obtain things like that. But still, the fact that it's just like knowing that it's a one time feeling or even like a once in a couple of years feeling, I feel great. I love this feeling, but like I couldn't physically do this every day. I just couldn't. Yeah, I'm sure it's probably a pain. It's like I can't compare exactly the same feeling, but it's like trying to teach yourself to sleep on your back after getting your entire mouth removed, all your teeth removed from your mouth. It took me forever because I cannot tell you the amount of times that I fall asleep on my back, but I'm naturally like I sleep on my sides most of the time. And so during the night while I'm sleeping, like obviously not thinking about it because I'm sleeping, I just roll over. And the moment that my jaw would hit that pillow, I'd snap awake because I get, the singeing, horrible pain and that physical ability to have to eventually then teach myself, like, to stay in place and to try to sleep on my back to as not have the ability to roll over onto my mouth was horrible. It was hard and horrible. Hey, what are you doing? No, no, stop it. Stop it. Go. Lay down. Go. Izzy, no. My dog. She's not being a good dog today. Get that in there. No. 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 Why you being bad girl today, huh? Why you being bad girl? You being bad. You being bad. Put your head down. Put your head down. You know, go get that. Go get it. Now lay down. Lay down. Lay down. All the way. Don't move. Feel like my dog sees stuff outside of her cage, so she sticks her hands through the cage and to grab them, but she ends up like scratching all my shit. Things I don't want her scratching up, she scratches them up because she's trying to reach something. That's what I heard her over there doing. So what I had to do was she has a ball that she has in her cage, which you can't obviously throw a ball in a cage, but she likes having the ball in her cage or whatever. I'm not going to complain. It keeps her was that she was trying to get to. You're going to go potty soon, but you got to lay down. Put your head down. Also love it when she looks at me and she's like sad because like she's getting yelled at and her ears are tucked down and she looks at me and you can see it in her face where it's like she's like, I live such a hard life, and is like, this dog has no idea how great of a life she truly has. Like, yeah, sure, I will admit I maybe yell at her a bit more than what most people do. I don't hit my dog. I mean, I have if she's been super bad and done something she deserves it. And it's not like I beat the shit out of my dog. I smack her on the nose because that's just the way you teach a dog how that they've been not good. Like you just give her a smack on the nose. It also doesn't mean I do one a full stroke. It's just a crack to the nose, just a little, enough to make her realize, like, no, you don't do that. But I still find it funny that every time I yell at her, she still is all like, I live such a hard life. Or like if I tell her to drink water and she doesn't want water, she lays on the floor and tucks her tail between her legs and droops her ears and looks at you like, but I don't want it. I don't want the water. And then so my mom and I, we always like make fun of her when she does it, because as soon as she does it, we're both like, oh, you live such a hard life. Your owner wants you to drink water and you don't want any. Oh, is your heart life so hard, is he? Oh no, poor Bobby. That fucking dog's treated like a goddamn spoiled brat half the time, and she then still sits there and pretends like my life is so hard as a dog. Having you as an owner is so hard. You yell at me because I try to scratch things up that you don't want me to scratch up. Thank you, Holly. You also have a good night. I'm sure that you're probably not going to have the most fantastic night with everything you have to do, but try to enjoy and make the best of whatever you can with the night as you can. And I will see you tomorrow for tomorrow's stream, because I obviously will be here. Um, Yesterday I was really depressed / I had a really bad migraine because I don't think you were here, and I'm not trying to keep you around, so don't think that you guys stay just because of what I'm explaining. But you weren't here earlier when I first started the stream, when I explained the fact of the turtle that I got, that little baby turtle escaped from the container he was in and got lost in my house, and I had no idea where he was. I didn't find him until this afternoon at 3:30 in the afternoon. So all night last night I was super depressed because I had just gotten this baby turtle and he was somehow now lost inside of my house, and I pretty much figured he was going to die somewhere and I'd never get him. So I was really upset on my life. And then on top of that, I had a migraine that kicked up anyways. So when you add depression and migraine, I kind of was like, yeah, I'm not going to live stream tonight. It's just not going to happen. So I like to bring positivity and happiness to my streams. And if I'm just going to sit here and be a Sally and a negative Nancy the whole time, then I just don't stream. It's just one of those things where it's, I can't bring myself to try to be happy and positive and like fake being happy and positive when I physically am not. So it's just easier for me to just not do it and not, put bad negative feelings out there on the internet. So that's why I uploaded that vlog yesterday on my channel instead of doing a live stream. But yeah, you can go. That's fine. I will definitely be getting off of here pretty soon. Um, Even though I just finished one, I might smoke another cigarette and then leave, and end the video after I finish the cigarette. But oh, I'm still itchy everywhere. My nose, like the worst. I think it's the hairs of my beard and my mustache that fucking getting all over the place, making me itchy up there. But my nose is like itchy at the bottom. It's really annoying. Oh, good night, Holly. I'll see you tomorrow. Now we're an hour and 40 minutes in. And realistically, I look at the clock and we're only 15 minutes till 12. So even if I smoke a cigarette now and end the stream at 12, it would technically be not 2 hours because of the fact that I started like 10 minutes late anyways. So I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if I had to end the stream a little bit earlier than that. But yeah, I don't know. Can't really think of much else to talk about. Be much easier just to unwind for the night, watch a little bit of my show so I can eventually then just head off to bed. So I think it'd probably just be best and easier for me if I just end the stream now without even smoking another cigarette. I'll just end it now. So if you guys like this video, a like would be much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to help me get even closer to that 500 subscriber mark. We're at 200, or we have only 23 subscribers that will get us to that 500 subscriber mark. And if you're already part of the channel, I suggest you share the video with other people in your life. So that way, maybe we can gain our subscribers just a little bit with even more people that are cool and awesome. Because obviously, anybody who's here at this point watching this video is obviously a good person in my book. So anybody that you would bring around that would possibly subscribe and or watch my content, I'm sure they would just be just as good and swell of a person as you are. Yeah. So after everything, after all we talked about, my ramblingness, feeling itchy and a bit out of character for the fact that I'm feeling numb through the medication that I'm on. I thank you for coming and watching me this evening, and I really hope that you found some entertainment tonight in what we've done and talked about. But my name is Matt Freeman, and I like to talk a lot. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the next installment of the Matt Freeman live stream, which will be between 10 and 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, unless I decide to change it to 9 to 11. We don't know. We are still up in the air about that. Might finish off this week at doing 10 to 12, but then start next week with 9 to 11. Don't know, not really sure for sure if we're going to do that, but I will see you guys the next time for the next stream tomorrow night, regardless. Thank you so much for watching. I love your faces, and goodbye, my friends.